sooner rather than later, if you give bad performances, the bad results will follow. Now, this is exactly what is happening to Kaizer Chiefs following their 2-1 defeat to Stellenbosch tonight. Now, Kaizer Chiefs, prior to this game, we do know that they have been getting 1-0 results as well as 2-1 results. But I guess that in the past 2 games, it has finally caught up to them. Going into the game, Kaizer Chiefs were looking to stabilize their position on the log. Now, Stellenbosch on the other side, they were looking to get their side out of the bottom half of the table and closer to the top 8. Now, Kaizer Chiefs started out with a 4-3-3 system, looking to attack Stellenbosch, and Stellenbosch had their 4-3-3. Now, we saw that in the early stages of the game, there was not really much given by both sides, where it was more of a cagey affair, where we saw most of the balls being played into the corner. Fortunately enough, though, for Kaizer Chiefs, we saw in the early stages of the game that Umabue was able to break through for Kaizer Chiefs through midfield of Stellenbosch, and was able to create an opportunity for Silva. Now, this just emphasizes the point that we keep on making on the channel, that as long as the Kaizer Chiefs are able to come through the middle, they will be able to create chances for themselves. Now, what I was able to pick up from midfield Kaizer Chiefs today is that there was Umabue, there was Ungcobo, as well as Chislett. Now, Umabue as well as Ungcobo, they were making themselves available to collect the ball from the defenders, but too many times we saw that the ball was not being released fast, and when the ball was released, there was no one to support the person who was getting the ball. For example, once Umabue received the ball, Chislett, I was not certain where his position was, because on many times he was seen on the left-hand side where we found Ashley Dupree, so meaning that number 8 was not really there for Kaizer Chiefs. Now, that I believe what caused the problems early in the game for Kaizer Chiefs. Now, fortunately enough for Kaizer Chiefs, in the first half, they did not have to wait for too long, as they were able to create an opportunity through Umabue. Mabue was also able to put through Silva, and Silva was able to put, not to Silva, Ulilepo. And then Ulilepo was able to create an opportunity for Silva. Now, I'll give credit to Silva on that opportunity for the mere fact that he was able to stay between the 2 posts. Now, for many of the strikers that we see, that more especially in the PSL, you will find them they're roaming around. They away from the box instead of staying in the box. Now, from what I've picked up from Silva, even in the opportunity that was created with Umabue, he always tries to find himself in the box between the 2 poles where he is able to convert. Now, credit to Kevin Hunt after going a goal down, in that he was able to take out Wade Juster, and I believe this is where the game turned, because at this point I believe that Kevin Hunt, he was playing with a full back side, with his 2 full backs looking to join the attackers, but having taking Juster out and rather sticking with the back 4 and putting on Butsaga meant that he was filling up the midfield. And I believe that when the midfield was filled by Kevin Hunt, he was able to pull the game back for Stellenbosch. Because once Butsaga came on, not that he was able to dominate the game, but Kaizer Chiefs were not as willing to come through the midfield. Now, what I've also picked up from the Kaizer Chiefs, that when Stellenbosch they conceded a goal, is that in Kaizer Chiefs, the way that they defend, their defenders are always caught out of position. Because if you look at the first goal that Kaizer Chiefs conceded, you've got a flat back 4, but you have Umakathe who is pushing out. I do not know why he's pushing out, attacking the space in the midfield, even though we are being attacked. By Umakathe pushing out, we saw that Umako moved more central to cover space McCarthy, and by covering space McCarthy, it opened up a space for Titus. Now, if most of you would know that Kevin Hunt, that is how he would normally punish you, is that the ball would come from inside, the ball would go wide, and we know what Devin Titus is able to do. He's a very dangerous player. He was able to play the ball to the furthest post on the ground, and a great finish from Upili, who I also don't understand how he was able to beat Solomon, even though Solomon was on the inside of the pole. And then also from the Kaizer Chiefs side, I've also noticed that there's also too many unforced errors. There were too many unforced errors in that a lot of 5-meter passes were being lost. There were a lot of, for example, Solomon, you would have a defender who is playing the ball to him, but before he has even received the ball, Solomon is already moving. Or if he passes the ball into the central midfield, before the guy is able to receive the ball, he's already moving. What that creates is it creates a space where he moves, instead of just rather waiting for the guy to receive and allowing him to make a decision in where he would like him to play. Now, for Kaizer Chiefs, we saw that they made an array of changes where we saw 4 substitutions being made at the same time. Now, for me, as I would say that as much as the Kaizer Chiefs, the fans would like to believe that they've got A players, the quality of the players, we saw that it is not good enough. You can't be having A players who are not able to give 5-meter passes, or when they do make decisions, their decisions are not effective. The one player that I will give credit to, Umabue, though, even in the the second part of the second half, is that he was able to pull through, to push through from the midfield and join the last third. And even when he was joining the last third, he was able to pass Umako. And unfortunately for Umako, it took too long to take a shot at goal, and the defenders were able to close him down. Now, having made his substitution, as I said, Kevin Hunt, we saw that Kaizer Chiefs, they were pushing a lot of their players forward, but even though they were pushing their players forward, there was no real shape, and it created a deficit at the back, which we saw a result in his second goal for Stellenbosch. Now, we saw again, very much like the first goal, now instead of Umakati pushing out, this time we saw Ukwinika push a ball that was being played in the midfield, being late in that ball, and then once that ball, he was late in the ball was played through to Titus, and we know that how dangerous is Titus, and he was able to put it through for Stellenbosch. Now again, a lot of people were saying that the defense of Kaizer Chiefs is solid, but this Kaizer Chiefs defense, if we are being honest, it hasn't been really tested. And on the times that it has been tested, they've been caught in sixes, and because most of the times they are defending out of position. Now for Kaizer Chiefs, it will be a big blow for them going into a Soweto derby, as they will be facing the Orlando Pirates this weekend. Now both teams have lost in the last few days, so it will make it an interesting spectacle going into the weekend. I've also realized that Mamelodi Sundowns have also they were leading on the other side. So if Mamelodi Sundowns do remain leading in that game, it would mean that they are top of the log, and that would mean that come the weekend, it is all to play for in the Soweto derby against the Orlando Pirates as well as the Kaizer Chiefs. If you viewed the game differently, or if you have any different thoughts from what I saw the game, please hit the comment section, like the video, and then I'll catch you on the next one.